Featherstorm, and then good luck. We're going to try to win the game by ourselves. But Dignitas now maybe putting a little bit more faith into giving Spawn a little bit of that agency.
Yeah, it has been an incredibly, incredibly rough start of the spring split for Spawn. And whoever has been his lane partner, Biofrost for 6 games, Ignar for 1, and so many tanks being banned away. A lot of this game could end up being frontline. What's interesting, like when you have Lucian Nami, if Armut isn't on something tanky, Lucian Nami can just shred through whoever they want. Like, you really do need someone to block that, like, 2-item power spike, Gale Force, RFC with the Imperial Mandate, because you just, you can basically slow someone from off the screen and then one-shot them with culling. Jax is okay for that. Understand the pick for Dignitas.
Not necessarily the front line that you would expect traditionally, but maybe it can fulfill the job. Maybe it can give some other avenues for Dignitas to succeed if all the eggs in the basket for the bot lane does not go their way. Meanwhile, Golden Guardians, as you've already called out, the Lucian and Nami lane, Golden Guardians already confident in their 2v2 laning prowess.
Oh.
Whoa! Hold up, Lee Sin! We got a Lee Sin! Let's go!
We got a Sejuani top and a Lee Sin jungle, most likely. That's how this is going to play out. He was changed on the patch. He now has total AP ratio on some of his spells, so he's going to be a little bit buffed and a little bit better scaling.
Slightly more lethal on this patch, as you called it already.
What?
Oh, man.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, well, I mean, this is fantastic. You have such a potent kill combo now with Lee Sin and Akali. When they're both level 6, if you're roaming and you're skirmishing, you do not want to face them head up first. You have got to be careful around River and Gori.
I will say, though, this is just like a 4-5 Victor or a Zeri angle. Like, if Jensen just picks a control mage and Golden Guardians doesn't take over this game early, they're short range, they have a ton of melees, and Jensen could carry this game. Oh boy. So he's gone full skill matchup against the Akali. Still something that can punish squishy targets, but in a much different way.
Did you see his face? I was like, nah, give me the LeBlanc. I'm going to throw down against this guy. I'm not going to let him push me around.
Dude, Jensen is tired of losing. He wants to carry this one.
Let's go. I love seeing the fire out of a team that is not performing well, because even when the teams that are not doing so hot, you never want to underestimate them when their backs are pushed up against the wall, because that is when they have the least amount to lose. And for Golden Guardians, they are really... You're going to swap this top lane and jungle pick, right? Oh my god, it's the top lane Lee Sin! Wait, it's the top lane Lee Sin!
Guys, really?
Jatt's not impressed.
I'm surprised. I mean, it makes sense with
American Challenger League, which you can catch on weekends. As we head into our last game of the day of this Super Week, Golden Guardians against Dignitas with, I mean, this surprise top lane Lee Sin. I am really curious now how they want to play around this. I mean, because I almost imagine you just want to force 2v2s all the time.
Yeah, I really want to see the path that he ends up going. So he's gone Conqueror. I'm just scrambling here. You could go Eclipse. That's the highest win rate item I see, but most likely he's just going to go Gore Drinker and be a bit of a bruiser.
Sure.
Which is generally how you would play him when he was more in meta. Can't wait to see it.
God. I've been waiting the entire 4 weeks of the spring split to cast some freaking Lee Sin, man. We've just been, even though it's not in the jungle, I'm still happy to see one of my most played and one of my favorite champs of all time finally on the Rift. So Licorice, don't let me down. I want to see some sick insects.
Man, so often the 5th game of the day is like this sleeper game, but I'm just looking at the champions and they are so skill expressive. Like, everyone is going to be flying around this game. In a bit. They got to get items and abilities first.
Yeah, we're still chilling for the first few minutes of the game, but I mean, the volatility has been amped up this game already. That's one of the things about Lee Sin in a solo lane. You have so much control, just being able to start and max E first. Just being able to both harass and clear minion waves at the same time.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the exact patch note just so we're more well informed on what happened. Apologies that I really was not expecting to see Lee Sin top.
You know, the funny thing is when we had lunch with Freak earlier this week, I thanked him for the Lee Sin buffs.
You did?
Yeah. And lo and behold, we finally get a Lee Sin to pay off dividends here on the LCS stage. So far, checking in.
Oh. He's shoving the wave in, trying to push him out. W for the shield, E for the wave clear. Got to be a little careful about an early Vi gank, but it looks like he's pathing the other way. That's why he's going to leave the lane now and probably put a ward down. So yeah, the bonus AD ratio on Sonic Wave went up 0.1. That's not huge. Resonating Strike also 0.1, so just a 0.2 overall, like burst if you're building AD. Yep. But the biggest change is that his Tempest, his E, now has a total AD ratio instead of a bonus AD ratio.
Yeah.
And the base damage has been changed overall.
Definitely favoring more fighter bruiser builds rather than just full AD lethality builds.
Yeah, exactly.
In the past.
So that's more likely to go Gore Drinker than I think, based on this list. Cool. We'll see it.
Yeah. I was getting a little mad sciencey here and thinking if there's any other mythic items that you could go. But I mean, I'm pretty sure Gore Drinker has usually just been Bruiser Lee Sin's best item in the past. I mean, maybe with the way the Black Cleaver has been super good, maybe you could rush it as a first item, but I don't know if you necessarily need the sustain as much early on as you do.
Yeah, and this is also just like, it's definitely something they're trying to surprise Armut with.
Sure.
Because they already had the Sejuani locked in, they saw the Jax, like this is their counter pick to it. Santorin also making some visits bottom lane early on in the game, even just to buy them space, because honestly, if the Zeri Lulu does get going in this game, that is Dignitas, one of Dignitas' win conditions.
Yeah, and already Santorin, just the way he's been pathing has been covering and protecting Spawn and Ignar as they make this push against Stixxay and Huhi. We already know off of their performance last week that they've been dominant in the laning phase. So far, Spawn and Ignar are doing just fine. Your goal is not necessarily to win this lane, you just need to survive and you need to be able to at least go even. The fact that they're slightly going up is still a win for Spawn and Ignar.
Yeah, there's been, it's not every game.
Yeah.
But it feels like every game where Spawn is getting killed under his turret. That just cannot happen, especially in this meta. All the top teams you look at are the teams that have their AD carries perform.
Yep.
Because so much of it is about getting this advantage bot lane, snowballing the game, and having your AD carry take over. And it just has not been possible for Dignitas so far this year.
River's in the area, throws on the control ward, so both Spawn and Ignar now know that River is on the bottom side of the map, so they have to cede control for the moment. But thanks already to the early proactive members from Santorin, at least they have been given some defensive measures so that they can go even. Because as we said before, it's all about getting to the first item, getting to the second item without too much harassment, too much pressure from Stixxay and Huhi.
Yeah, I mean, Stixxay already burned through all of his health potions versus the Doran's Blade, but here we go. Nope. They don't see him. They see him. They definitely see him.
He can see. All right, Licorice is just still being fine on the top side of the map. He burned through one ward trinket. That's an awkward place to recall for Spawn. Unfortunately, his reset is delayed by River, but I mean, they've gotten through the first few minutes of the game. No deaths to be had so far. This is massive plus for Dignitas, especially with the composition that they have in mind.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to have a huge influence as they're trying to crash that wave, but Spawn can get back to the lane pretty fast. They going for a plate greed?
Huhi.
No, just get a support item stacked up. 60 gold.
Huge.
Yeah, had to do that before Stixxay recalled, otherwise the item would have turned off. No ally proximity.
Yeah. It's been a very quiet early game, and I know we were super hype about a lot of the volatile picks that have been drafted by both of these teams. The LeBlanc on one side, Lucian on the other, the Akali is one. It hasn't really been that bloodthirsty between both of these teams, and I'm not sure if that's really been a credit to Santorin, who has just been deflecting a lot of the early pressure that River has been looking for, or if River has just not been able to find some of those moments, or even necessarily needs to feel proactive in the early game.
Yeah, and thinking about this more, this is possibly Dignitas' best chance to pick up a win so far. Like, I just see a lot of champions that if they get a couple kills would be able to take over the game. Spawn is one of them. Jensen's Akali is another one. Like, there's just, he can just maneuver his way around the Sejuani and really provide lethal damage onto the Lucian Nami at any stage in the game. So, Dignitas really good. And I was looking this up, yeah, 28 and 8 on LeBlanc. Of champions that he has played this much, it's his highest win rate pick.
Damn.
So the next, you have to go all the way down to a zillion, which is like an 85% win rate, but in much fewer games to find a pick he's found more success on.
And it changes how Dignitas will want to operate in this incoming team fights, right? As you called before, you wanted to see maybe Oh man, a Victor and Azir would slap right now. But the fact that he's on LeBlanc means that he gets flank pressure. He gets to look for assassination potential on Stixxay or Huhi before a fight. We know what happens when a LeBlanc hits level 16 and you distortion over the wall and suddenly you don't have a support anymore.
Yeah. Changes the dynamic of the game for sure. This is the issue though. Let's see if Golden Guardians can go for a dive.
Spawn
No.
Chunk down.
Success. Success.
Look at that, Jatt.
He's alive.
Improvement. We're seeing growth from the side of Dignitas as Spawn and Ignore are able to survive under the bot lane turret pressure. Even River was in the area making sure that they could follow it up, but not enough health chunked off of the AD carry. No sums burned either. Spawn and Ignore are just riding this one out so far.
All good, all good. Really tense game, and thinking about the way Dignitas has made it here, they've actually had a couple games where it looked like they were in a winning condition. So they've had decent early games. Santorin has been able to pick up a lot of first bloods. Armut has been able to get some early advantages. It's about the cohesion as a team.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot that we have left to track in this game, and currently Spawn and Ignore are kind of stuck on their turret, so it makes this Rift Herald very difficult to contest. No one is going to be able to move up and help, and I think River will be able to take it.
It's not like the best situation, the best turnaround for Dignitas, but I think we can at least say that it is improvement from what this squad wants to see. Yes, they cede control of this Rift Herald, but Santorin has been clearly dedicating a lot more of his time and his resources into protecting his lanes rather than trying to proactively look and fish for every single objective. They got the first dragon, so it's not completely a net negative. So, I mean, so far, we already know Santorin has been great in the early games, and it just comes mid-game where they feel like they don't know what to do, how to be proactive and take that lead over. But with a little bit of extra scaling on their side, I mean, they don't necessarily have to press the gas.
Yeah, and I do also wonder if there's a little bit of unconscious bias against Dignitas if you're Golden Guardians, thinking like, it is a super week, they won yesterday, they're playing 100 Thieves. Even in our conversations yesterday, it was kind of like, oh, you got to beat 100 Thieves to go 3-0. Like, this game was already over.
That's right.
But that's what you call a trap game, right? That's what FlyQuest ran into today, I think. A little bit against TSM, where you're just not mentally getting up for the game because so many teams have beaten Dignitas before. Like, do they pull out the Lee Sin against other teams?
That's right.
And is it going to be good or bad? We'll still have to see. But this game is very close and very competitive currently.
River is set up on the bottom side of the map. I don't think he's been spotted since he has been hugging the walls inside. Huhi's the only one that shows himself traversing through the river. But they don't know for sure as River decides that there's nothing to be found, whereas Jensen could look for a dive with Armut onto Licorice.
Oh, yeah.
Dragon's Rage not even gonna be enough. That's first blood over to the Fed LeBlanc, and Dignitas Spawn is gonna clip on a kill as well. Huhi was caught out by Santorin.
Yeah, and there's just no coordination from Golden Guardians at the moment. Kill and 2 plates over for Jensen, and a teleport needs to be burned just to defend. So just Huhi completely in the river, not expecting the play to happen. It's Dignitas who is on the ball at the moment, and getting that kill onto the 2 most important players in the game is huge.
Dignitas already with a bounce back of a lead. The last time that we saw a great lead like this from Dignitas, I want to say it was week 2 against Immortals. And unfortunately for them, Immortals was able to kind of wait out and stall out to the point where they found their way back in. But Dignitas, if they can capitalize, if they can grow and improve and learn from all the games that they have played so far in the spring split and build upon, I mean, this is a way to bounce back in a super week.
Yeah, there is an element of playing the long game. I've spoken with Dignitas' GM, and he said he's trying not to overreact off of early spring results, and it's definitely about scaling up towards summer, but that's a long ways away. This was just a perfect dive. They get the stun before the kick is able to block anything realistic, and then also getting the kill over to the LeBlanc, I think, is important. And here, like, Huhi is just killing a control ward. He was kind of gambling that Sejuani would be shadowing there. The recall completes, though. Dignitas calls the bluff, and it actually is just Nami alone in the river.
Almost unfortunate for Golden Guardians that the timing of Santorin being in the area did not come until after River had completed the recall. But for Dignitas, they're going to take any chance that they can get. And because Jensen was already calmed by Golden Guardians that he was coming towards the top side of the area, Licorice has to back off, giving more pressure over to Armut. Spawn and Ignar are now left to fend for themselves under the tower. Gori is in the area as well, but Santorin alone is going to allow Dignitas' bot lane to still survive amidst the pressure.
Just trying to get gold onto a win condition. Oh, they're going for Stixxay.
They're flashing on a Stixxay. Stixxay still has a flash to work with. I hope this isn't too far forward for Santorin. Wild growth from Ignar keeps him alive. Stixxay calls him backwards, but the Pick's shield is going to keep him alive for now. Spawn tries to flash away. Pervert stuns him up, and now Stixxay is unleashed. The bubble is what clips him in the end. And just like that, Golden Guardians fire right on back.
Disaster for Dignitas in the bottom lane. Santorin just had the trigger pull, gets just yoinked all the way into the Golden Guardians team. And then Spawn also ends up burning both summoner spells trying to follow.
I'm not gonna lie, Jatt. I don't know what they saw. Maybe they just were very optimistic about the damage that they were gonna be able to provide. But Stixxay still had a flash available. He distanced himself so far away from Spawn and Ignar that they felt like they had to follow up. And that leads to Golden Guardians being able to reap the benefits of what seems more of a given play rather than an earned play.
Yeah, I'll have to see it again. It feels like a lack of synergy. The Gale Force was completed for the Lucian here. The Rift Herald crashes. It is just a 3v3, so they can see River killing that ward, and he just goes, but Flash Gale Force pulls him all the way in. They don't have the item advantage. I do not like that engage by Santorin, and it equalizes the gold for Golden Guardians, and Stixxay being able to flash for that kill is very big.
Yep. Almost seems counterintuitive to be able to deflect all that much.
Yeah.
And then to think, okay, well now we take this fight. It's like, what? Aren't you guys cool with just riding out the wave? But
I mean, look at top lane.
Yeah. Armut smashing with Jensen.
Yeah, Sunderer completed. Your LeBlanc has a kill. Their turret is no longer under threat. But you can also understand it, like, you're 0-7, you in this mindset that you got to make plays happen.
Sure.
Who knows if he's been able to stay off social media, but I heard Sven talking on the dive, like, oh yeah, Santorin, he's not the type of jungler for this team. Like, they need a jungler to go crazy like Boogie does for TSM. He was good if his lanes were winning, etc., etc.
Sure.
Sometimes that can put you in a mindset that you have to make something happen, but clearly that was not the time to make something happen.
And for Golden Guardians, I mean, for them, they haven't necessarily been the most proactive in the early game so far, but I mean, they'll take any opportunity that they can get, even if it's given. Right now, Rivers, Stixxay, and Huhi are set up to counteract against this Rift Herald, but Armut is going to get the first collapse.
Yeah.
I think Dignitas should be able to secure this, but it's still 6,000 HP. All 5 members from Dig are here. Licorice isn't, and yet Golden Guardians are still wanting to go forward. Spawn gets taken out by Gori. Santorin forced to go over the wall. 1,000 HP on the Rift Herald. Santorin can't even contest it. Golden Guardians. Licorice wasn't even there at the beginning of the fight, and they still won it.
They are able to kill Spawn at the start. That is the go button for the rest of the team. They have hit that Gale Force Imperial Mandate power spike, and they're going to be able to get a lot done with that Rift Herald.
Crashing it into the mid wave, it's going to break open the map for Golden Guardians. And as we talked about before, the skirmishing potential of Sejuani comboed either with the Lee Sin or with the Akali. Hell, now you have a very fed and online Lucian, 2-0-2 for Stixxay. This jungle no longer belongs to Dignitas.
Yeah, and now it's just so important that Armut is able to get out of lane and be that front line. Otherwise, you're going to see Stixxay and Huhi able to make very menacing approaches to fights, just popping that Nami E on him and letting him Gale Force to basically apply the slow from the Nami E and then combo the rest of the culling. Let's watch how that happens here. Like, it's just pop, pop. There goes 30% of Jensen's health, and River is just like an assassin right there. Over the wall, as Spawn is trapped in the animation trying to zap over it. And then Gori also had his E on him, so just everything thrown at Spawn right away. And by this point, the fight is over. Santorin's trapped in the pit. 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, the confidence from Golden Guardians knowing that Spawn didn't have flash from the prior fight in the bot lane before meant that River said, if I connect on this Glacial Prison, everyone goes in. And it's just that simple for Golden Guardians. Now 2,000 gold ahead.
Sneaky. Hi!
Hello! Licorice thankfully can always dash to a minion or, well, actually he doesn't ward anymore, but I want to pivot this conversation now to Dignitas being somewhat slowed in their Zeri scaling department. Jensen still is pretty significantly ahead.
Yeah.
how does Dignitas now manufacture a comeback lead with Jensen as the spear point?
It is hard because I think in order for LeBlanc to have success, they need to be able to push one of the side lanes and get him over there. So like if Jensen can actually, let's say he can push Akali in here, he could like make an entrance through the jungle.
Sure.
So the next dragon fight, you know, he can get him behind the Lucian and maybe like make something happen. But currently, they don't necessarily have like many things pushed here. So if all Golden Guardians does is just like set up in the river in my amazing art here, then it's just beautiful. Jensen can't make an entrance. So they need to find a way to get pushed somewhere. They probably need to use Jax to do that because of his advantage. And then Jensen can kind of shadow behind it. And that's maybe a way they make a play.
You would have to do it off a time where the top wave is massively shoved and then immediately book Armut towards the bottom side of the map in preparation. So it looks like they're doing the groundwork so far, at least getting top side control. But the Dragon's about to spawn in 10 seconds. Dignitas are nowhere near.
Yeah.
So that says to me that they're just completely forfeiting control.
Possibly. And I realized I used a lot of words to basically just say, play through Jax. Because...
You know what? That is a caster skill right there.
Yeah, play through Jax. Is Jax here? We're not playing here. Golden Guardians gets the train.
Well... As you said, they're going to still continue playing and put faith into Armut's Jax with the lead that Jensen has invested in so far. Licorice is the only one defending. At least it gives jungle control. And with Baron spawning in the next minute, could they get crazy? Could they just look for Baron as a way to pressure and force Golden Guardians into them?
Probably not. LeBlanc is too slow at Baron. Zeri doesn't necessarily have the items yet. Jax is okay, but I just think their Baron is too slow at the moment. But they could still try and get a pick there. Like if they get 2 or 3 kills, then just because it's going to be 20 minutes, that's a way to turn the game. And that's really just Santorin finding the correct angle if it even presents itself, since Golden Guardians is ahead.
Yeah. Still slow and steady for the side of Dignitas, whereas Golden Guardians feeling very, very grateful for the way that the lead has pandered around, but also just being super decisive. Wow, the Glacial Prison still connected! Oh no, Jensen gets called down by Stixxay, and Golden Guardian is going to continue pushing this lead. This tower is also gone.
Man, that first pick Sejuani, River is on point, 100% kill participation between him and Stixxay Huhi. This win streak has really been super powered by the Golden Guardians bottom lane. Huhi's one player of the game, Stixxay's one player of the games. They're nearly perfect this game so far, and they have the power, right? They got the Gale Force Imperial Mandate, they also have the Quick Blade, so he is just firing on all cylinders.
And it's just awesome to see the confidence level from Stixxay and Huhi really just surge out of nowhere. I think during the first week, there's a time where Stixxay and Huhi were the ones feeling the pressure of the stronger bot lanes in the league, but they bounced back with such great ferocity. Stixxay usually picking up a solo kill, even if it didn't happen 2v2 isolated this game. They capitalized on what Dignitas gave them, and they have just run away with the ball so far.
And if they win this game, because of the FlyQuest loss, Golden Guardians would have the largest active win streak in the LCS.
Oh, shit.
4 games win streak would be the most. Currently, them and EG are both on a 3-game win streak. So, just goes to speak about how well their turnaround has gone.
Currently, there he is. Oh. The scary 4-rider. You don't want to mess with River at this point in the game. Radiant Virtue already completed. Extremely tanky. As soon as they throw out that Glacial Prison, a lot of teamfight power with the healing, as they are just setting up complete control as Gori wants to go for the solo kill.
Gori.
Oh my god, he still has perfect execution. Jensen is forced to go back, but he's got nowhere to go. God damn, Gori, that was beautiful.
That was huge. They completely shut down Jensen in the side lane. Armut is off on the other side, can't do much. Santorin loses all their health. This is just gold being accumulated by the Guardians, and they're the ones that are now going for Baron.
That's right, and for Dignitas, because you already called out Santorin being chunked, I don't think there's any chance for Dignitas to realistically steal this Baron away. Armut is already pushing on the bottom side and just maximizing the lead that they can get through the side lanes, but Golden Guardians are now poised to just take over and complete this game.
Yeah, definitely. We had some questions about the Lee Sin early, but the rest of the draft seems to be doing very well. He just starts it with the E, and Jensen, like literally after that E landed, Jensen had no chance.
Yep.
Gori was able to follow him over the wall. He's got 2 Rs. There's no way Jensen can escape.
Dios mío. What a scary Akali from Gori. For Golden Guardians, this team has just been continuing to deliver and deliver and deliver after their bounce back from week 3. I mean, if we had to make conversations now that they have the full team and a seemingly better identity for themselves.
Yeah. Oh.
Might have to hold that. Jensen, no teleport available, Distortion already gone, and yeah, that is a dead LeBlanc. I mean, Golden Guardians, this is a team that, when you guys were having a conversation about where this team might realistically end up, I know conversations about potentially being a top 5 team by the end of the split.
Man, LCS is really weird at the moment. And like, even this Golden Guardians team, full credit for their turnaround. And it looks like they will be able to take down or at least compete with the top teams, but we just don't know. Like, just to remind people, the first week they had Young in, played well, but is not the intended starter. They lost to EG and C9 as they're going to be breaking this Nexus turret or inhibitor turret very quickly. Cut me off if a fight happens. I'm trying to read.
No, you're good. You're good.
Week 2, they played FlyQuest and TL. TL was looking better back then.
Sure.
But we kind of saw that as like, okay, those were some of the top 4 teams. Since then, they've played teams at the bottom half of the standings, and they've rightly beaten them, which puts them squarely in the middle. And unlike other teams, like, they've beaten the teams below them and lost to the teams above them. They're the anti-CLG currently.
They are the middle point at the moment, but the way that they have been dominating, even if it is Dignitas, I mean, Golden Guardians just look so damn confident, look so damn sure. They did burn quite a bit of resources to take out Armut, but they still do it just in time to make their way over to the Dragon to pick up their 3rd of the game.
Yeah, and man, what is Dignitas doing? Like, the last 3 or 4 deaths just look completely scattered. There is not a clear winning position, even if they're playing well, but there is no winning position with the way they're playing. They're just 5 people in 5 different places. They're all behind. Nothing good can happen. Like, they need to at least have 2 people together or 3 people together somewhere on the map. Like, look, there's just 4 people completely spread out on the map right now.
Sure.
And that's been like a consistent thing the last 4 minutes, so they're making it very easy for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, I mean, Golden Guardians, they're definitely a team that is not going to shy away from taking a dominant victory if you are going to give it to them. Like, I think what Golden Guardians have done extremely well is, even if they don't manufacture leads for themselves, they're one of the swiftest ones to punish a team that is being somewhat reckless with their position. But Ignore and Spawn say, you know what? Maybe we can take a 2v1. Maybe we can take out this Akali. But Gori just goes into the Shroud, gets out, no trouble whatsoever.
Close. They're almost too tanky. I mean, it's just hard to get an Akali at that point in the game, and now they're collapsing onto Jax.
Goodbye, Armut. You will be missed, my friend. Golden Guardians just making their way ever so closely into the base and towards the end. Dignitas are just holding on to the very grasp of this base, and Golden Guardians just making do on the promise ever since their very first content video aired, where they addressed everyone not so politely with a very strong message. Golden Guardians are continuing to deliver as they have now taken out 2 inhibitors in the base of Dignitas.
Yeah, just gonna go spend their piles of money in base, most likely, and then continue to carry on in the game. Tons of compliments for the way Golden Guardians have been playing. Even in the games that they lost early on in the year, they were playing well. We said many times in the lounge that they were, quote, like, the best 0-3 team in the league, or the best 0-2 team in the league, and that wasn't meant as like a backhanded compliment. It was just they were playing well, and we did actually expect this team to bounce back. And it's impressive to do it consistently. Best of ones are very variable, and this is now their 4th, like, solid win in a row. Makes me very excited for that 100 Thieves game tomorrow, because 100 Thieves is having a bad week. So Golden Guardians, if they win that, will have the 3-0 to 100 Thieves 0-3. That'll be something.
And it would be a massive swing as we are closing down on the halfway point of the spring split, where we'll be finishing out our first round robin. Golden Guardians will be poised to make a huge swing with the momentum that they have garnered at the tail end of the round robin, and maybe gives them that confidence needed to go and rematch against the teams that they lost to in the first opening weeks of the split.
Yep, just making the rounds, trying to get this third inhibitor down at the moment. Gori can threaten flank and also damage on those inhibitor turrets. River can literally just stand there because he's super tanky. And we'll see if Dig tries to make an engage. It's mostly a suicidal engage if they go for it. I like how slow Golden Guardians is playing this.
Yeah, being careful with their lead. They know that they just want to close this one out cleanly. I mean, just like that.
Beauty.
No Vi ultimate available now for Dignitas, so they have no way to engage, and good God! Look away from the screen, chat, turn off the monitor! This is not safe for a family-friendly stream anymore. Golden Guardians are slaughtering Dignitas! Spawn is trying to stand tall and fire right on back, but all you can do as a Zeri is just hope and pray that Golden Guardians show mercy! Spawn is doing everything that he can, but it's still not enough damage!
Hey!
Yeah!
That's why you pick Lee Sin!
Licorice goes in, kicks him in the face, kicks him out of the game! Golden Guardians close it out!
14 kills to 3. Solid end of the game for Golden Guardians, moving to 4-4. Another tough loss for Dignitas, but I'm really looking forward to seeing that Golden Guardians 100 Thieves matchup tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Golden Guardians, man, oh man, ever since the beginning of week 3, this team has found their rhythm, they have found their groove, and they are moving through each and every single one of these games.
They look good.
Yeah.
Really good vibes going on in that team. They talked about